Hey YouTube, this is Gregory Nelson. Welcome to What Did I Just Watch? Episode 3, a YouTube series where I show my favorite matches to my best friends who aren't wrestling fans. We'll be covering matches that go the absolute limit and how they create drama, tell a story, and keep viewers wanting more. My guest today is one of my best friends, Susie Giering. I'm going to give Susie 60 seconds to cut a little promo about herself. Susie, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm Susie. In addition to being Greg's one of his best friends in the world, I am a registered nurse for adults with developmental disabilities, but I've worked all over the place. And I'm a mom at home right now, and I have nothing really to plug because I'm not really a creative person, but I do have a sister fighting cancer right now. So we're going to put the GoFundMe link in this episode, and we would so appreciate any small amount you could give to that. Would be amazing.
Absolutely. Anyone listening right now, feel free to throw a donation Susie's way. It will really help. When Susie agreed to do the show, I already had a match picked out for her. Susie and I will be discussing The Rock versus Mankind I Quit match from Royal Rumble 1999. This is the second Mankind match I've covered on this show, and it's definitely not the last. Before we get into this match, Susie, can you tell me anything you already know about Mankind or The Rock before, seeing this match?
I know two things. One, I know The Rock is gorgeous. Two, Mankind was in an episode of Boy Meets World, which is like one of my childhood favorite shows. So, of course, when you asked me to watch this match, I was so psyched to watch it.
Susie, if I can test your wrestling trivia, do you know what other wrestler made an appearance on Boy Meets World?
Yes, I do. I do know this, though. It's, he's Frankie's dad. Oh, man. What is it? I don't remember. No, The Big Show?
No. It is not.
Who was it?
Vader.
Oh my God! Yes, of course it was.
Oh.
I even pictured the thing. Oh my God.
Alrighty, so I think we're gonna get into this match. This is a little different than my normal episodes I've already done. Normally, I will give this match to the person, and then we'll break away, and then we'll come back to it. But I've already given this match to Susie to watch because we're not really going to get into a real theatrical type of conversation. We're going to talk about the broken bones, the gashes, the cuts, the blood.
Yeah.
So
and I gotta tell you, Greg, as a medical professional watching it, it gave me chills.
Just wait for what I have prepared for you.
Oh, God.
Just wait for the swerve. Alrighty, so I say this in every episode. If we're friends in real life and you want the full experience, send me a DM or an email. I'll let you borrow my sign-in info for the WWE Network. If not, I put up tons of images during the match, so you'll survive. Now, the rules to an I Quit match are to incapacitate your opponent to the point where they say those two magical words, I quit. Something else I want to bring up is how essential the microphone is as a prop in this match, because they talk so much trash back and forth. During The Rock's entrance, there's footage of Rock attacking Mankind earlier in the night. This helps the audience believe that The Rock already has an advantage going into this match. But right out of the gate, that more or less angers Mankind because he gets in the ring and just starts wailing on The Rock. I feel like the normal punches and kicks are not what we're going to get into as far as injuries are concerned. Mm-hmm. But let's see what does happen in this match. Like I said, right in the beginning, Mankind gets a lot of offensive in, just laying punches back and forth on The Rock. Most of this match, I noticed, The Rock doesn't get a whole lot of offensive in until like the last 5 minutes of the match.
But he sure gets it in, though.
Mm-hmm. So this match finds its way outside really early. The commentary team is talking about Foley's past and all the injuries he sustained over years, further pushing what he's capable of withstanding in this match. That brings us to the real first bump of the match, too, where Mankind attempts to Irish whip The Rock into the ring steps, but Rock reverses and sends Mankind's knees into the ring steps.
Greg, that was so hard to watch. Even the sound alone of his smashing into those steps would be bad enough, but oh my God, I could feel it shatter. Greg, I did want to mention, I don't know what this note means, but maybe you'll know.
Yes.
Jabroni Drive.
Yes. So,
Because I found that to be so funny, I wrote it down.
in the early stages of Rock's career, he would do this singing very similar to Elvis,
Okay.
where, fuck it, we're on YouTube. So Rock on his own would sing, well, since Rock's baby left him, he's found a new place to dwell. It's down at the end of Jabroni Drive at Smackdown Hotel. You're welcome, YouTube. That was for you. The Rock then gets on headset and starts talking trash about Mankind, but then Mankind doesn't like that. Not one bit. Mankind gets The Rock away from the commentary table. He throws him over to the bell ringing area and smacks him over the back with a steel chair. He then shoves the microphone in his face, telling him to quit. The Rock says, no, kiss my ass. You can go piss yourself. A lot of The Rock's responses throughout this match are very similar. But later in the match, Mankind's responses on the microphone are absolute gold. After this, both competitors get back into the ring, and this is where Mankind introduces The Rock to Mr. Socko. Susie, medically speaking, is there anything you wouldn't recommend about shoving a dirty sock down your throat?
I gotta say, I have a very strong stomach. I've had tubes in a lot of people. I've seen a lot of blood, but my stomach churned when he put that dirty sock in his mouth. That is unsanitary on so many levels.
After this, Mankind grabs a microphone again, telling Rock to quit. The Rock refuses. Another play of the microphone that I just absolutely love in this match, especially when it gets used as a weapon. I love it.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, the match goes back outside the ring. And after a little back and forth in the crowd, for the first time in the match, The Rock gains some offensive, which brings us to one of our more serious moments of the match. Rock approaches Mankind with the ring bell, rests it against his head, and gives it a ring not once, but twice.
Greg, this one got me on two fronts. One, of course, the obvious, the head trauma. But a bell that close to your ear can give you permanent hearing damage. Like, I can't believe he wasn't like quivering from that noise.
Right after this is proof that not everything goes exactly to plan. Rock tries to get Mankind up onto the commentator's table for a rock bottom, seething confidence for a millisecond before the table just gives, bringing both men to the floor. After that, The Rock grabs the microphone. He tells Mankind to quit. Mankind responds, up yours, and immediately gains offense again, bouncing Rock's head off the ring post.
Yeah, that was rough to watch.
And then we see the match find its way to the entranceway and technical area. The two continue to brawl until Rock hits a DDT on the cement floor.
Oh, God. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say about that one.
Again, The Rock grabs a microphone, requesting that Mankind quits, and he does not quit.
And I gotta say, Mankind takes it to a whole other level. I just feel like The Rock is more of like a showman, and Mankind is just a savage.
I actually talk about this in my first episode, is that he doesn't fit the model of a WWE champion.
Yeah, he's kind of that. I like his vibe, though.
He's definitely a theater kid. So this is where The Rock introduces a ladder to the match. As soon as he walks out there, Mankind just mows him down, pinning Rock between a ladder and a hard place. He attempts to drop an elbow and lands right on the ladder. The Rock moves out of the way.
Oh, that one was a rough one to watch, too.
I can't imagine what it feels like landing on a ladder.
Yeah, but also the elbow has like a cluster of nerves right underneath it. And the way he landed, I could just feel it. I was like, oh, it's like making me shudder.
That funny bone, it'll get you.
There ain't nothing funny about hitting that funny bone.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. What is a ladder used for?
Oh, climbing. Naturally.
And what did they do next? They climbed. They climbed up to the second level lodge seating, roughly 12 feet up in the air. They just keep laying punches on each other back and forth until Rock hits Mankind right in the grapefruits.
That's going to swell.
The Rock climbs over the railing, taunting Mankind as he's trying to get up. And then Rock delivers a running forearm to Mankind, causing him to fall 12 feet onto some technical equipment.
Yeah, and not only that, but there's sparks flying everywhere. The man could have electrocuted his heart.
Mankind lands hard. There are sparks flying. The lights go out, and the only thing you hear is 20,000 fans cheering for more.
But beyond just the electricity thing, he fell into it. You could get burns. He looked like he could have dislocated his shoulder the way he landed.
I think he did.
I knew it.
The lights come back on. Everyone is out there. There's referees. There's EMTs. Vince's son, Shane McMahon, is out there talking to The Rock about how this can't continue. And how does The Rock respond? He says, "No doctor, no nothing. That son of a bitch will scream, 'I quit,' or I'll be damned if he don't." One of my favorite things he says during the match.
It really does. It was pretty amazing.
He had a whole like setup of lines for him at this point in his career. He wasn't as smooth on the tongue as he is now.
Right.
It's like, I love these one-liners in this match.
Yeah. Well, I haven't watched him a whole lot, so I was really getting a kick out of the random times where he just stop and like sniff, like you smell what The Rock's cooking, because I've actually never seen him do that.
That part of his character, when he would introduce the inhales, is one of the funniest things ever.
I know. I love seeing him just go.
What happens next is The Rock and Mankind slowly make their way back to the entranceway. They get into the ring, and this is where The Rock introduces handcuffs into the match. He starts to take some serious offense, kicking the bound Mankind and smashing his head into the turnbuckle.
And this is the part where my stomach really started to turn, because it was getting more like viscerally violent. And I was just like, is this okay? Is this supposed to be real?
Well, you have Mankind literally being held captive,
yeah,
within an inch of his life. I don't think any of it's okay. And the fact that it's not okay is what brings us to this next beat of the match, and it's where Mankind's survival instincts start to kick in. He winds up hitting The Rock with one low blow, and then knocking him to the ground, taking a bite out of his face, and then lands another knee to his groin.
I don't know if you know this, Greg, but you can get infection from a human bite. It is like the human mouth is like a lot less sanitary than people realize.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's pretty, when I saw them biting, I was like, oh boy, like he's going to have to go to a doctor for that.
I assume after the two low blows to The Rock, his grapefruits are going to swell also.
Oh boy. Right for the picking.
I actually have a quote from one of the commentators that says, "The corporate jewels have been shattered."
Oh my God, I lost it at that point.
Rock recovers with a swift clothesline, ducks out of the ring, and grabs a steel chair that is about to be heard around the world.
I didn't just hear it, Greg. I felt it.
Rock lays the chair down on Mankind's face and delivers the people's elbow.
A concussion.
Rock grabs the microphone. He shoves it in Mankind's face, telling him to quit. Mankind says, "Go to hell, Rock." The Rock responds, "The Rock may go to hell, but your candy ass first." Mankind gets up, 2 more chair shots to the head.
Concussion.
The Rock says, "Say I quit." Mankind responds, "You'll have to kill me." Which brings us to 3 more chair shots.
Concussion.
At this point, Mankind is busted open. They get out of the ring, and Rock delivers another chair shot to the head.
Concussion.
The Rock says, "Say I quit." Chair shot.
Concussion.
The Rock says, "Say I quit." Chair shot.
Concussion.
You can chant for your Foley all you want, but that piece of trash will say, I quit. 2 more chair shots.
Boom, boom, concussion, concussion.
Mankind is just motionless on the ground. The Rock speaks into the microphone. Mankind, your monkey ass says, I quit. To which Mankind responds, I quit, I quit, I quit. Now, just after this, The Rock says a few more words into the microphone, requesting that they award the championship to the champion. He spends some time celebrating in the ring. He makes his way past Mankind, and then Mankind gets up and walks it off. Have you ever seen someone in your line of work just walk it off like that?
No, and that just speaks to what a absolute maniac Mankind is. And in addition to the numerous concussions, there was a fair amount of blood flying around that ring. And I just feel like you need a biohazard team called in for that much blood. Like even in the hospital, we've got people when the blood gets that bad.
I'm actually going to get into an excerpt from Mankind's book at this point called Foley is Good.
I love it.
New York Times bestseller, #1.
My husband owns it.
I sincerely believe that professional wrestling is at its best when performers lose their own sense of disbelief and begin to actually, quote, feel it. In a sense, the match becomes real, or at least real in that they actually, quote, become their character and actually, quote, feel what the storyline is attempting to make the audience feel. As I took the beating up to the aisle, I lost that sense of disbelief and began to actually, quote, feel that I was the wounded Mankind, so beat up that I could hardly stand. Now, if you're Robert De Niro on the set of Raging Bull and you feel like Jake LaMotta, it's probably a positive. If you're Mick Foley and you're about to be handcuffed and bludgeoned in front of your children, it's probably not. Which brings us to the swerve of this match that I did not tell you about. Mankind's wife and children were in the front row for that match.
Oh, wow.
And at this point is where we're going to break away for a little bit. I'm going to show Susie the last 15 or so minutes from the documentary Beyond the Mat, which tells a completely different story than the one you just heard.
Oh.
I'm going to leave the exact timestamp from that documentary. It is on Netflix. So if anyone at home wants to watch it, you'll get the full experience. And we'll be back in a little bit to talk about that.
Nice.
Okay. And we are back. How are we feeling about this match after seeing that little bit of content?
Wow. That took this like emotional part of me out that I didn't even know I had. That was actually really hard to watch.
It was harder to watch than the actual match.
Right. But in the match, there's this level of comedy with Mankind going on there. And then to see that and like, as a mother myself and seeing his young daughter and his kids and just how upset they were is really, it hit home like a lot more than I thought it would.
Well, let's break it down from the beginning. The first part of this is you see the before, the during, and the after of the match. So the before, you see Mankind and The Rock chatting like old buddies backstage.
Throwing down.
Talking about what they're going to do in the match. Then you see Mankind talking to his kids. And, Rock comes up. He assures them everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And the interesting part is that Rock asked them how Disneyland was. And I was reading in Foley's book that he took his kids to Disneyland for 4 days straight before this match.
Yeah, and he took them on every single ride, which is
Pretty much.
exactly what like you would do as a parent. And it was, oh,
Yeah.
it was just,
I was also reading that he was originally supposed to take them after the match, but due to some sort of scheduling conflict, he had to take
yeah,
them before. So it wasn't as, it didn't, I feel like it didn't cure the pain as well as it could have.
yeah, yeah. Before the hamster dies, not after.
God. Another part I loved is when they're talking backstage, Stone Cold just comes and pops his head in real quick. Let's talk about during the match.
Okay, during the match, watching it the other day, I was thinking like, wow, isn't this just so entertaining? I love this. This is just, I was having the time of my life watching it. And then watching it from this perspective, I was heartbroken. And his kids were crying, his wife, she was shielding their eyes. And I was just like, I can't even picture what they're going through right now.
She shouted the word no before every single one of those chair shots at the end.
Yeah. Oh, yes. It was just so raw and real and like almost too real. And whew, it really hit me right in the mom feels.
Oh, absolutely. His daughter, Noelle, was digging her face deep into her mother's chest,
Yes.
not wanting to watch this anymore, crying her eyes out.
Yeah. And finally, she had to take them and leave.
Weirdly enough, Noelle Foley, his daughter, reminds me so much of your daughter.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
much.
She reminded me a bit of Dahlia too, which I think definitely made it even harder to watch.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot about this too until I was reading the book this morning. And I'm like, oh my God, I totally forgot about Beyond the Mat.
Yeah.
I have to show her that segment from Beyond the Mat. So anyone watching, definitely check out the documentary. It is hard to get through, to be honest.
It is, but it is like the parallel there. It gives you like the full experience of the whole thing. And like, oh, God, I can't recommend it enough.
And that really brings us to the post-match part of this, where Mankind, for him, this is just another day at the office. His kids walk back there and he's acting like nothing happened.
But he is also shedding blood down his face, all over himself, all down his shirt.
I think it's more or less him trying to keep everyone calm as much as possible.
Greg, seriously, I started crying when she goes, Dada has boo-boos, which is exactly what Dahlia said when DJ got hurt. And I was just, oh, I felt that. I was just like, when you try to convince your kid that everything's fine, even though you're really terrified, it was awful.
Did you see the part where his wife asked him what time the flight was? And Mankind responded 12. And then his wife said 12:00. And then he's like 12:05. And then she turns around and says, I'm just making sure his brain works.
Yeah. And she was right to do that, because the first thing you do with any head injury, and in his case, 9 head injuries, is that you want to orient them to person, so they know who they are, place, they know where they are, and time. And so that was actually like a very impressive move by his wife. I was like, good on you, lady.
I mean, she's married to a man who is a human car wreck for a living. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Human stuntman. Do you have any final thoughts about what I've chosen to show you?
I guess my only final thought would really just be to say like thank you, because I know like we've been friends for 15 years now, and I never watch wrestling, and you always talk about it, and I was just like, what's the big deal? And then not only I really enjoyed watching the match as it on its own, but then the clip you just showed me like brought it all like together for me, and it really just like changed how I view it all together. And it's like,
yeah, there's definitely not enough like real deep wrestling documentaries like that, and to be perfectly honest, there needs to be more.
Yeah, it really opened my eyes is what I want to say, honestly. And even just to add to that, like the whole thing with Vince McMahon and his chat with him at the end was just like, wow, you could really see how like the camaraderie of this network and like the wrestlers in the WWF and Stone Cold Steve Austin came in to like check on him to see if he was okay. It was just like very, I don't know, it brought the whole experience and like rounded it for me. It was like, wow, this is a full on culture and like I just appreciate it more.
Well, the great part about the Vince segment was that he was getting his head stitched up too.
Well, yes, because I liked that match so much that I watched the whole Royal Rumble afterwards,
Yeah.
and I saw what Vince went through as well, and that's like a whole other episode.
So I think that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, Susie, for being on episode 3.
I had such a great time. I'd love to be back.
Yes. That being said, to you guys watching, like this video, comment, subscribe, click the little bell icon so you never miss an episode. I've been posting action figure videos on YouTube. I have a new roundtable series with a few friends coming up that actually know stuff about wrestling. You may have noticed it at the beginning of the episode. I wanted to dedicate this episode to my good friend Justin Bloom. I met him through my brother Zach out in San Diego a few years ago, and we instantly clicked. He was a huge wrestling fan, and it seemed whenever we caught up, we had great stuff to talk about. He had a hilarious laugh, and we definitely have some great times together. So rest in peace, Justin. This episode's for you. And finally, I don't want to be doing this YouTube thing forever. I want to get back to work in live theater. Stay safe, stay home. If you go out, wear a mask. Vote on November 3rd. Don't be a dick. And just support each other. Thanks for watching. Take care. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.